Yes, I do think that our families greatly influence our lives. But I don't think that, let's say, this idea is seen from the right perspective all the time. What I mean is, I do think that the cause and effect are quite reversed. We are influenced by our families not accidentally, but because we have chosen this on purpose. Why I'm telling this? Because before coming on earth in a new body in order to live a new life experience, before reincarnation, when we are in our spiritual world, in the upper realms, in the higher dimensions, let's say, we do choose our life scripts, our life stories, let's say, in which choosing a particular family to join is one of the most important items, let's say. So you don't come in a family without any purpose and without any meaning. On the contrary, choosing the family and all the other important details that create the new context of your life, the historical period of time, the country in which you'll be born, the social status of the family or of the country, the religion, and so on. All these categories that will characterize your life create your context of learning. Let's say that if we do compare, and we have already compared in our podcast, life with a stage, then you do choose the set of the story. And the family is one of the most important items that define your new life. Now, another very important mention to make is the fact that sometimes you choose the family for its weaknesses or for its strengths. It's to some extent like a SWOT analysis, because you want to be helped by the members of your family, either with your own weaknesses or strengths as a spiritual being. Let's take some examples in order to clearly understand this idea. So, in the first situations, maybe you are quite a shy and introvert soul, because let's say that you had some important traumas in your previous lives. So you might choose to come in a family where you will have two very determined parents, two very ambitious and courageous persons who always define their objectives in life in a very clear way, who never fail to fulfill their dreams, and so on. And this is especially because you want yourself to surpass your shyness. You want to try to learn how to stick to your own dreams, to your own values, and so on. So you might choose your parents as a model to follow. In the opposite example, you might choose to come in a family where you will have a violent father, probably also, let's say, with problems of alcoholism. Because in another previous life of yours, you might have been a violent person too, and you might have had a negative influence on your children. And now you might have chosen to change your perspective, to learn from your father's behavior in order to change yourself, in order to surpass yourself, your own weaknesses, and to understand what you have done, what was the impact, and how to do completely differently in a new life, in a new existence. So, all in all, sometimes we choose our families in order to follow their model, and sometimes we choose them in order to surpass them and to completely change our own path from their own. But once again, no matter what's the situation, it's not something that happens by chance. Generally speaking, when we are children or teenagers, we are greatly influenced by the members of our family. And almost without being conscious, we tend to imitate them. Children really learn a lot simply by imitating. So it's not always that our mother, let's say, tried to tell us, you should do this or that, things should be done like this or like that, but you see her in her daily life, in her daily routines. And without acknowledging it, without being conscious about it, because you are not starting a deep intellectual thought and process in yourself, you start learning that things should be done in this way because my mother did them this way. So then a few years later, let's say that you are 25 years old and you are very tired one day and you tell yourself, I must do the vacuum cleaning today. It's compulsory, it's mandatory, it's urgent. And you are very tired and maybe there is a voice in your head that tells you, it's not so urgent, leave it for tomorrow. And however you keep on pushing yourself, and there is a part of you that tells you, no, you must do it now. What's important is to realize when you do have values, ideas, thoughts that are not yourselves, that were taken from someone else, that were a mere influence from other people around you. And you should breathe deeply in these kind of moments, do some steps behind, and simply try to see why do you have this or that life value or this or that idea. Who learned you to act in this or that way? And in this moment, as an adult, you should start choosing. And this choice is why that person really appeared in your life. Because this is when you are really in the middle of the intersection, in the middle of the crossroads. Because you should choose, was my mother a model that I want to follow, that I want to imitate? So was she present in my life to show me what I want to be and to become? Or on the contrary, I want to change everything and to change my path because she was there to show me or to remember me that I don't want to do this or that because maybe I have done already this or that in another previous life. So what's important is to choose when you become adult if you want or if you don't want to follow the influences of your family, because as I have already mentioned, sometimes people are there in order to be models for us, and other times they are there in order to remember us what we want to change in our being. And I want in the end to remember you once again the concept of karma that we have already discussed in other episodes of our podcast, is that karma does not mean revenge in this superficial way in which it is unfortunately frequently seen on earth. Karma is a principle, let's say, that does exist in the whole universe, but it is not a God who stays like a judge in heavens and who tells us you've done that or you've done this and you must be punished. No, but everything that we are doing here or in other dimensions has consequences. Nothing is without a result. What I mean is that if you do move a form of energy in one direction, it will return to you. I have once read in a very good book written by a French author that karma is like throwing a stone in the peaceful waters of a lake. When you do throw the stone, the water will naturally create some small waves, and then the waves will slowly return to the point where you have thrown the stone. So each energy, no matter its quantity or its quality, that you transmit in the universe returns to you sooner or later in a form or another. Now we do live here on earth a period of time when karma returns very quickly, sometimes even in the same day or in a matter of days. But there are moments when karma might return in another life. But when you do change perspectives in a family from one life to another, it is not important this idea of revenge, but it's only important to understand a particular theme or situation, for example violence, from different perspectives in order to evolve, to improve your spiritual strength and your vibration, and not to repeat the same mistakes from one life to another. So all in all, to conclude, yes, I do think that our family greatly influences us, but nothing is without meaning or without purpose. If we are there and if we are influenced by a member of our family, it's because we have to learn something from that particular lesson. If we come back to being Pyotr Ilyich, we were 6 children in the family, and not all the 6 children were so greatly influenced by our mother. It was only myself and my sister Sasha who were the children most influenced by our mother's melancholy, deep fragility, and even by her state of depression. The other siblings did not seem to be so much influenced by her, because it was only part of our lesson, life lesson, to be influenced by our mother's emotions and inner states of mind. So in the end, I might say that no matter if we speak about families or friends, we are all teachers, one for each other in one life. Only that, of course, most of the time we are not conscious about it.